All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am just going to start the screening, or sorry, sharing the screen, and just give me 1 second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me now? That's good.
Yes, sir.
That's good. So this is
Yes, sir.
about learning and learning styles and teaching strategies. That is what I told you in the beginning or the introduction of this session while inviting you all people. What exactly this session will be about. Basically, this session is about designing our pedagogy. Pedagogy means the combination of the learning styles of the students plus implementing or designing your strategies according to their learning styles. Unless and until we know the learning styles of the students, we will never be able to adopt a particular strategy which will be.
Can you please mute yourselves, all of you? May I request you to mute yourselves? Thank you.
Unless and until we know the learning styles of the students, and basically somebody is writing on the screen, ma'am, really this is really bad. You see, whole presentation will be all spoiled. When I share this video, who will be able to do it or observe it correctly? Anyway, please don't do it. You are all educated people and you know how not to disturb the people. If you're not interested, you can leave immediately, no problem. I will return your money also. That is also not a big deal. So now, first thing is that after this webinar, today itself or tomorrow morning, I'll be sending you the first mail, which will be a recording of this session, today's session, plus one format if you try to find out your own learning style. Unless and until you find your own learning style, you will never be able to find out the learning style of the students. And unless and until you know the learning styles of the students, you will not be able to design your strategies. Which strategy has to be adopted under what circumstances it has to be adopted, and what pedagogy I have to design so as to fit all. This is called one size fit all strategy. I'll not be able to give any answers to anybody because I told them by 6:25 you join. How can I help everybody sitting out here? Now see, just give me one example or this thing. How many of you remember if I ask you one or two, three particular questions? There was a dialogue. Can you just remember it? If you remember that, just show me your thumbs up, or you just write yes. There was a movie where Salman Khan took one dumb and mute girl across the border. Anybody of you remember that movie? Name of the movie? Just unmute yourself and speak it out. Just one or two answer will be more than sufficient for me to go for the learning style.
Bajrangi Bhaijan.
That's great. That's great. Now, there was a dialogue. रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे बाप लगते हैं. आगे कौन पूरा करेगा इसे?
नाम है शहर.
अरे वाह, सुरजीत कौर जी, वेरी गुड. आप सब लोग जानते हैं. इसका मतलब आपको ये दोनों मॉड्यूल समझने में ज्यादा दिक्कत नहीं आएगी. Let us go for now one practical aspect of हेलो हेलो नीश बोलिए 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 मैम। मैडम कैसे करूं मैं, आप लोगों को 6:20 पे बोलता हूं आने के लिए, आप लोग टाइम पे आते ही नहीं है। मैं बैठा हूं यहाँ पे, अभी मैं लिंक भेज रहा हूँ आपको, कैसे करेंगे बताइए। यहाँ पे मैं वेबिनार शुरू कर चुका हूँ। नहीं मैडम नहीं, दिस इज आई एम सॉरी जुबेदा। अब एक एक दो दो टीचर्स के लिए अगर ऐसे हमको लगना पड़े तो नियरली ओवर 100 टीचर्स आर हियर, दे विल ऑल बी सफरिंग। Now just give me 1 second because there is. लो अभी लाइट चली गई, you will not be able to see my only 2 white dots you might be able to see inspect of my eyes, but that doesn't make any difference. Now let us move further. You see, when your father came in from the office annoyed over something, then certainly from his facial features you might be able to recognize what exactly might have happened back at office and why his facial features are showing. So this type of exception, you accept that particular feature and you yourself decide that yes, his mood is not good, and that is why we will be not able to talk to him in good mood. Sometimes you might be finding him in good mood as he enters back from the office. Then certainly he might have brought some samosas and kachori and some dishes for you. Or whenever, even if he is free, means free hand, without bringing anything, then certainly you might be knowing not whether the mood is good or bad, but he will be giving you a offer, let us go for the dinner out today. So this is basically the thing. How do we learn? And these are the basic structure of learning styles. Now over here you can see there are 8.
काविला मेरे को वो भी दे दे हेडफोन्स
Madam, please mute yourself. You are educated. मोहन जी मेरे को आप ये सिखाइएगा कि सबको म्यूट अनम्यूट कैसे करते हैं, बिकॉज
So
अगर
in the meeting, you are the this head, so you have the right for meeting and admin in going in settings.
मैडम सेटिंग्स मेरे को करनी नहीं आती हैं अभी, एक बार दो बार किया
Making
मैंने,
what? Sorry.
practice. But anyway, I will learn it next time. Tomorrow I will be utilizing it. Now the thing is, you see there are 8 learning styles written over here and let us discuss them one by one. You see, first is visual. When you are going for the visual learning, then certainly you might see use of pictures, images, flashbacks, flashcards, drawings, and even sometimes audio visual. Wherever audio is working is fine, but audio might not be working, but still you can utilize them. So these are the things which are visual, which we can perceive from any of our senses. They are all sensory organs. And if we can perceive any object or any drawing or painting or flashcard or whatsoever from our eyes, using our eyes, that is called visual learning style. The second one is oral, that is audition, use of sound. You see, for example, a person who cannot see, blind, but he can perceive all the signals through his auditory, use of sound, which means he cannot see, but he can listen, he can hear, and he can find out from that particular tone, intonation, the way of speaking, that whether the mood of the person is good or bad. So use of sound, hear something over and over again, reading out, using a recorder, quiz, loud them, orally. These are all oral. And the verbal, physical, I will be going you is kinesthetic. That is use of body, hand, sense of touch. They retain with the performance, that is lab demonstrations, etc. Now, when we utilize visual and oral, means the oral and visual style both in our classroom strategy to gain the system. When we are teaching or delivering, then we are utilizing both of them in our delivery. The strategy we are utilizing, and that is what we all do most of the time, using the blackboard. In our times, it was utilizing the blackboard or chalkboard, and then speaking it out regularly, speaking and writing. So most of the students will certainly go for writing, making their own notes, or understanding the concept. And that is called verbal or linguistic. You see, when I give you this format for the purpose of finding out your students' learning style, you will see visual, oral, and kinesthetic. They will be majorly shown up in your chart, in your results. In your results, you will be finding out these particular three styles, which means the next ones, the other ones may be there, but these first one, visual, second, oral, and third, kinesthetic. These three are the major styles which we utilize and the students utilize. Now the next one is logical, that is mathematical. Whenever there is something put up, the students are stricken with the question why, where, how, when. So these type of things, reasoning. When we go for the logical reasoning, mathematical style is there, logical reasoning is there, logical style of learning is there. Next one is social. I will give you a lot of examples in the next few minutes. Social means they prefer to learn in society, social, group. Now see, in a group, there might be 5 students. They learn in the group, that is their methodology of learning, that is style of learning. But how do they learn? They learn using visual, which means they contribute also using pictures. They can draw very good. They can use flashcards. They can use drawings. They can put images. They can do anything. But their learning style is visual. The fundamental, the basic one is visual. But their style of learning also is social, which means they prefer to learn in a group. You might have understood in the times of examination, your son or daughter just tells you, I'm going to such and such friend for studying for the examination. There is no harm in it. Of course, you must be careful, but this may be his or her style of learning, that he or she prefers to learn in a group. And that is why 2 of them together make a good group. One will be teaching, another will be hearing, seeing, that means visual, auditor or audition, that is oral, and kinesthetic, both of them discussing also, doing also, body parts, hands, sense of touch. Right? And they finally decide, okay, fine, this is the final answer, and both of them write in their own words. So, social learner, but the fundamental, the basic style is visual, oral, and kinesthetic. The next one is solitary. In the parent-teachers meeting, you might have come across a statement from the parents कि madam, I don't know, I have never seen my child studying seriously for 15 minutes even. He goes from here, keeps his bag, everything in place, have lunch, take some rest, watch some cartoon. In the evening time, he goes to play, comes back, have dinner, watches some TV with us, and then goes to bed. We don't know when he studies, and still he secures 95%, 98%. This is the one who is solitary learner. This is the one who works alone, self-study. And this is the person when whole home people, the family people are watching TV, he just slips out very quietly, goes to his room, shuts the door, and opens up the book, turns the pages for 15-20 minutes, learn everything, and come afresh. And when you ask him or her, where have you been to? Oh, I was in washroom. He will never tell you I was studying. And those 15 minutes are more than sufficient for him to retain the knowledge what he has gained in those 15 minutes because his learning style is solitary, intrapersonal. He cannot work in a group. Even if he is in a class, he might not be disturbing, but he will not be able to gain, retain the knowledge given by the teacher in the class. In a group, in a class of full of 40 students, he will not be able to do. So that is what I am saying. You insist on first finding out. I will send you the format tomorrow morning along with the recording of today's session. And please revert to me only saying whether you got, if you got the mail tomorrow morning, it is fine. If you didn't get, you just write, please share the today's mail. So I will check out whether the mail has been correctly written by my side or from my side or not. Otherwise, I will be having my mailer demons in my mailbox also. Now the next one is, last one is a naturalist. These are the people, these are the students who learn by the way of associating everything with the nature. And nature means what exactly everybody is, everything is shared naturally. Environmentalist, what they experience by their own experience, they learn. You tell them, a student of class 4 I was teaching, and earlier also Mohanji, Manikyambaji, they are very old trainees of mine, and they are basically going to be trainers in within next 6 months. Mohanji, tell me yes or no. मनी के अम्बा जी ने आज वीडियो ऑफ कर रखा है because she is tired. But I tell you one thing, once you get on the things, I told you earlier also this particular example. In class 4, you teach sun rises in the east. Each of the students, 39 students agree to that. One student will raise hand. Excuse me, sir. Yes. Sir, but you told the sun is at the center of the universe or our cosmos and all planets revolve around that. So how sun rises? It is basically we people moving towards sun, revolving towards sun, and once in the morning, once we are facing the sun, when we face the sun, that means we are going down, and that is why sun is rising. The logic was very good and very much authentic. So what we are teaching, sun is rising in the east, is not good at all. So we must be careful while telling or teaching our students, and you must accept that the child was very much right in his, because this is his own experience. They associate everything with the nature. Now let us go for some examples. Let us see some examples. Now, see, when you start watching, let us say fourth one. Okay. Let us say fourth one. When you talk, no, sorry, when you reward someone, in the lower classes, we tell them to make some stars, some ice cream, some trophies, candies, and such similar things, or write good. If you write good in our times, the good, if good, very good, fair, these were the words written in the red ink, and we were happy to show to our parents कि देखो आज मेरे को good मिला है, देखो आज मेरे को fair मिला है. And parents were also happy. Whether parents were happy or not is none of my business. My business was that I was motivated due to those 4 letters: good, fair. That was more than sufficient for me to perform better. So when you talk, when you reward someone with, you tend to write something on their work. This is visual. They can see that particular word and they are happy looking at that. The second one is you are having oral test in your examining in your class, or you just ask anybody, yes Mohit, what is your response, and he says this, and very good, you say very good, very good. Then what happens? He is motivated. This is audio, this is audio style. And if you kinesthetic one, this is physical. Tap on the back, speak out something, tap on the back, very good Mohit, keep it up. This is physical style of learning. See the last one. When you see a movie, just now I asked you 2 questions. Just now I asked you 2 questions, about one about Shahenshah, one about some other movie, Bajrangi Bhaijaan, and that everybody knows. When you remember what the best scene was, the people were looked like, then you certainly remember that. Then it is your visual style, which means you remember the people by the way they represent themselves. Say for example, you go in a birthday party and you are just looking around very casually, but your eyes are stuck with one particular person, and you are attracted towards, whether it is facial features, whether it is how he dressed up, how he talks, how he is walking around, how he is wishing everybody, greeting everybody, the style, and that impresses you. So that is visual style. You don't know that particular person, but you are impressed, and that is your learning style. And you tend to try out whether I can befriend him or not. That is visual style. Second thing is if you remember a serial or read a novel and remember particular scene by the way what was said, what was the dialogue, how was the music, how the sound, how it sounded, then it was then it is called audio style. How that particular scene happened, the characters, their emotions, their facial features, how they spoke, then you remember this particular style is always physical one. Next slide we go on is you see, do you? I just asked, do you? Do you means, do you try to interpret the things, mainly making note facial expressions? If you note only facial expressions, then you are trying, just like I gave you an example, your father came back from the office and you try to interpret his mood from his facial expressions, then you are a visual learner. If he comes in from the office and he just gives an order, pani lao. And second thing, the second way he is saying, beta pani dena zara. Both the tones are different. The action required is same. But in both the ways, the first one you will say he is not in good mood. The second one you will say he is in good mood. Beta pani dena zara. The tone of voice will give you an idea of how you interpret his mood. And that is the way you say it is audio style. And the third one is he comes in, keeps his gadi keys on the refrigerator, throws his shoes over there, just tuck on the sofa set, and keeps his lunchbox on the table. Tuck, 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 tuck. Everything relaxingly, without keeping in mind that they can be placed in an orderly way. So you can say that his mood is not good. When you are, do you memorize the things by writing something repeatedly? I do this thing. Mohanji knows, Manikyambaji knows. Every time I write everything. I write everything, remembering the things. Next thing, first thing in the morning is get up 4:30. By 5 o'clock, I freshen up myself and everything is done. Once everything is done, then I go for my diary, open up the page and find out what is written for the today's task, to-do list. Oh, इनके certificates, इनको PowerPoint देना है, यहाँ पे ये करना है, वहाँ पे वो करना है. So that way, I remember everything. I prefer to memorize the things by doing the things repeatedly. Writing something repeatedly is visual, and repeating words loudly, just like while I am going to the bed, maximum by 10 o'clock. 9:30 to 10 is my sleeping time. After watching 2 serials, I go for the bed. And during that time, I do everything. If there is something emergency, I speak it out and go to sleep. Next thing in the morning is that thing comes back to me immediately right in the diary. Now the next one. These are all the similar things. Now the next, this is learning styles may, if you are angry, you become silent and seethe. What is that? Oh my God. Battery level has gone down because it was not charging. 7+. Now it is charging. So when you are angry, you become silent and seethe. That is with visual style. When you are inactive or idle, you talk to yourself or you talk to others. You prefer to do that just to pass the time. Then you are an audio learner. If you are learning, then you like to get involved, be heads on or hands on, or try it out, write notes, do something, body actions. That is what I am saying. You speak out and keep on writing. You write and speak it out. So that is again physical one. Now the next slide is about how do we learn. You see, how do we learn is basically this is the base structure of what exactly how do we learn. Starting from the lowest part is reading. By reading, we retain 10%. By hearing the words what others say, we retain 20%. And this basically is the portion 30%, 20%, 10%. These are the parts where the gossips start. Because we don't keep 100%. Our mind is not that much trained to keep 100% exactly the same statement. And this is where the gossips start. Because we retain only maximum 30% by or 20% by hearing the words. Rest 80% we add by ourselves. And that is how the gossips are made. When we view the picture, we retain 30%. Say, for example, we are watching a movie. That way we retain higher part, that is 40%. And if we go for watching demonstration, then certainly we retain more than that, that is 50%. When we teach the activity, that is simulation, मॉल में जाते हैं, छोटे छोटे बच्चों को कार में बिठा देते हैं ड्राइविंग के लिए, और बिग स्क्रीन, that is simulation. Bike race, over here the big what you call headphones, no outside sound except the video, and on the video he's just sitting over there, he's not turning here and there, but looking at the screen he turns here and there without his seat moving around. That is called simulation. They learn and retain 90%. And when they are asked to participate in the activity, physically involve themselves in the activity, they retain 100%. And that is why the latest NEP, that is National Education Framework, which has come 2020. Although I am really sorry to say that CBSE has given all the extension, all the help to integrate the curriculum. Can you integrate art education for teaching mathematics? Can you integrate physical education to teach science, geography, history in physical education, music for science? These all co-curricular subjects, art, music, craft, physical education, and a number of the others are there. They can be integrated with the mainstream subjects to boost up the retention. When they participate in these activities, they do retain a larger part. Next slide is also giving you the similar type of this thing. What exactly is happening is, when we hear something, we retain 10%. When we hear and see something, we retain 50%. When we speak out this thing, that is 70% retention. When we do physical things, physically ourselves also involve ourselves also, 90%. But I tell you one thing, everything gained, everything involved, every sense of feeling, our sense, they are involved in these activities for learning. But the major part is played by the teacher. In presence of teacher only, these all aids, these all styles will be activated. If there is no teacher at all, these all ways of learning will be vanished. I was just laughing yesterday कि if there is Bonvita, कि वो Bonvita है, I don't know whether it is Bonvita or Horlicks. How do you associate with the freedom fighter Gandhiji? Where he was born? Where he was? What is the connection between a place and a salt? What is the what was that march called? Dandi March, and all that. Everything is retained. And then the mother comes. So if everybody can crack IAS using Bonvita or Horlicks and something like these, then there is no use of going to classes. And I tell you one thing, one trend is also now coming in after the COVID. And now you see 0.08% is the selection of IAS. Abhi, just last week only the results were declared, and there was a live talk about that IAS achiever toppers, what they did and how they connected it. And 62% of those kids, they never went to any coaching institute, but their learning style was something different. They were, one was farmer's boy, one was a barber's son, another girl was learning by herself after doing her BTech or BSc, no BTech. She dropped 1 year and she told that my old friends were teasing me, we are having a package of 15,000, 20,000, 25,000, but my dream was to become an IAS officer. And in the first attempt, she cracked it. So that basically depends upon your guide. And she told my guide was my father, who is a teacher. So basically my intention over here is to emphasize, in absence of teacher, nothing will happen. You have to have a guide to tell you the right path, right direction of movement. So over here, my today's presentation is coming to an end. I will stop sharing now and I will ask you people to open up your videos, ask for some questions, and then we will end up today's session. Yes, if anybody has got any question, doubts, queries, even suggestions also, you are most welcome to share your ideas so that I can also benefit and you our other friends can also benefit from your ideas and we can move forward in the right direction. Yes, if anybody can open up. Shivamurthy ji, I am seeing you after a very long time.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
What happened? I hope so everything is all right.
Yes, sir. Everything is okay, sir.
Yeah, that's great. And
Sir, you said that 8 different styles of learning strategies are there.
yeah,
Is there possibility one person maybe more than one learning styles?
it is.
For example,
It is there, sir. It is there. One person cannot have only audio, cannot have only visual, cannot have only physical. Your learning style will be having a combination of minimum three styles. That is audio style,
okay.
visual style, and kinesthetic. I will give you that chart, that format of how to learn your own style. You will see those three. Note it down.
Yes, sir.
Note them down. And then you will
Okay,
see
okay, sir.
40% audio style, 30% physical style, rest is kinesthetic style or visual style. This is basically the combination of three styles which everybody has got. And these three styles, they apply in different situations, whether he is group learner, whether he is solitary learner, whether it is logical learner. These three styles, he apply everywhere. Yes, Suryalal ji. बोलें सर बोलें. I expect everybody to write P in the chat box.
नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार
नमस्कार
जी,
सर।
कैसे हैं?
सर आपके द्वारा जो वेबिनार किया जा रहा है अति सुंदर है, बहुत ही ज्ञानवर्धक है। हम आपको धन्यवाद देते हैं।
धन्यवाद सर, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Yes, anybody else would like to speak up something? Would like to present some of your views, whatsoever you have got doubts, ideas, suggestions, anything, whatever comes to your mind. You see on the phone. Yes, ma'am.
So may I?
Yeah, please, please.
Sir, how do we identify the learning styles of students?
Madam, I will give you the chart. I will give you a format. That is online it is, and you appear for that particular. Probably, if I find out today itself, I will give it to you today itself. Otherwise, tomorrow morning in the mailbox you will get. It is a questionnaire of only for 5 minutes. 4 to 5 minutes you will take. An online response answer will be coming over there to you. What type of learner you are, what is the majority style, your learning style, 40% audio, 30% visual, rest is kinesthetic, and so on and so forth. For everybody it is different. But these three styles will be coming up there. I will give you the format, and that format you can utilize for finding out the learning style of your students also in the classroom. Once your schools open up, you just take them to the computer lab, 10 at a time, 20 at a time, depending upon the strength of the computer lab. You make them sit on the computer, appear for that particular test with their own personal mail ID. because the result will be mailed to you. Find out the result, make a chart, and then strategize your teaching, which we'll be discussing tomorrow. What type of strategies you have to engage for further learning.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, ma'am. Please. Is anybody else who would like to contribute to this
Yes,
discussion?
sir.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
I want to ask, is it applicable for kindergarten students, sir,
Madam,
for
this
small
is?
students?
What is that?
Is it applicable for, sir,
Ma'am,
can you hear me?
yes, yes, I can hear, but the thing is, this is not applicable, not very much practical. It is basically for the person who understands the thing, who understands the written language. Class 4 onwards.
Okay, so as a preschool teacher, sir, I cannot apply this in my class, sir?
But the thing is that if you can observe on the basis of these particular features, characteristics, if you try to find out, आपने anecdotal records का मेरा नहीं webinar attend किया, कभी होगा तो आप attend करिए उसको.
Yes, sir, I missed it, sir.
Anecdotal records is basically for this purpose only. You can find out utilizing those observations for finding out the learning style of the kids who cannot speak or express themselves. But you can observe how they express themselves or activate themselves, engage themselves in the activities. They learn by themselves by doing. Like in anecdotal records, Mohanji, Manikyambaji, they might be remembering. I gave them an example. One child was sitting with a paper boat near a pool of water. She put up there and the boat started. She pulled it back, put some wooden pieces in there. Then the boat slowly and slowly droned. But after some time, the wooden pieces again rose, which means she started learning by doing herself, by putting weight in the boat, weight of the objects put in the boat were more than the weight
Yes,
of
sir.
boat. That's why it droned. Once it droned, the wood being
Hmm.
lighter than water, it again rose up in the water. So that way they learn. And if you observe them, then only you will be able to find out what is their learning style. Rimaji got my idea.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
My
Very much.
pleasure. Yes, anybody else who would like to express? All right, if there is nobody, then certainly we put an end to this session. And tomorrow morning, Kotam Rajuji, good evening. Then certainly tomorrow evening, tomorrow morning by afternoon, you will get this recording as well as that particular format, how to learn to find out, try to find out first for yourself. First you will try to find out for yourself and then apply for your students. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us come to the end of this session, and you will be getting this recording tomorrow morning by noon with that format. Thank you. Have a nice dinner and nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day, sir. Was really very
Thank you,
good.
sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Sharma,
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
very well done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.